tonight on News Radio 560 KPQ and KPQ.com.
12 minutes past 1 o'clock. Let's meet our very special guests. They are Sunshine Poliquin, who's a defense attorney and a public defender, Loretta Stover, who's with the Center for Alcohol and Drug and Treatment, and not here, who just ran back to court, was Judge Kristen Ferrara, whose jury came in. She had a decision, and she had to run back and do things that judges do in the courtroom. So she will return in a couple weeks. And so welcome to you, Sunshine. Welcome to you, Loretta. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Michael.
There's something very important starting in a couple days. June 7th, drug court starts in Wenatchee. Who wants to explain what drug court is all about? Sunshine?
I'll explain what drug court is. It's a program that's approximately 24 months long, and it is for people who are charged with felonies where they have an addiction issue, whether it be methamphetamine, heroin, opiates, whatever that addiction may be, and not only have a desire to get clean, but also to help get this dismissed off their history. So if they successfully complete the program, which will not be easy by any stretch, then they will gain sobriety as well as earn a dismissal.
Even people who, without the help of a court or an attorney that go into treatment, have to face the fact that it's not going to be easy no matter what the outcome. Am I right about that, Loretta?
Absolutely. Recovery is a lifetime struggle. And so this is a way for our folks to be able to alleviate a felony off of their record and be able to seek employment and some of the other struggles, as well as with drug court. We have a team of people who will be wrapping around them and helping them provide other things in assisting them with housing and case management and supervision. They'll be meeting with the judge on a regular basis to talk about either the successes that they're having or some of the struggles that they're going through.
Sunshine, you know what the rules are like in a courtroom. This is not the way we do things now, but in a very short days, we're going to change the way we do things in terms of drug offenses, even felonies in the courtroom. Is the law ready for this?
Absolutely. Drug court has been going on in different places for years now, and there's studies to show how effective it is. It is a different type of court system, but there are still going to be rules of law that follow along with it. It's just going to be a little bit different to really meet the needs of those who have addiction issues.
Using your imagination, why don't you come up with a felony case that would be typical of someone who's going to go be under the auspices of law and order, probably be incarcerated for a while, and then face drug court?
That would be easy. Any possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, Suboxone, without a prescription, any of those. But it's not just for drug crimes. It's also for property crimes where the individual who's been charged also has addiction issues. So you can, one of my personal pet peeves is if you get trespassed from Walmart for shoplifting. They'll trespass you for 99 years or life, depending on what the paperwork is. If you go back into Walmart, then it's just a trespass, just you being there. But if you go back into Walmart and steal something, now you've got a burglary in the second degree,
Whoa.
Which is a Class B felony. And it's still, if you didn't have that prior trespass, it would be a straight up shoplift. So somebody who has been struggling with addiction issues and let's say goes into Walmart and shoplifts food because they've got addiction issues and so they haven't been having steady work, so they have no income.
And they're not making good decisions.
And not necessarily making the best decisions. No. This would be a program that can be helpful for them because depending on their history, they can go to prison for years for shoplifting food from Walmart if they've got a prior trespass. And if these issues are driven by addiction, then we've got a program for you that will not only help you change that path, hopefully, but also keep you out of prison and get you back into the community. And what our end goal here is to have, and not just individuals be clean. We want people to be clean, obviously, but to be clean and have stable housing, have a job, have a support system.
Reclaim their life.
Exactly.
Or maybe they never had one. Understand what life's all about.
Get them back really into society and be productive members of society after that, because
that's what recovery is.
Exactly.
There are people who want people to pay for their crimes. And those are people who are probably not suffering right now with addiction issues. They don't see the difference between the crimes we're talking about based and the result of addictions and someone who just steals the car for a joyride. and I don't mean to minimize in anyone's mind either crime, but you've seen the actions of addiction when they end up in court. It's not the proper way to deal with it, is it, Sunshine?
Well, there's different ways to deal with things, and the justice system overall would need to be a completely different show. But I think what your question is trying to get at is whether or not drug court is a slap on the wrist, and if people are getting away kind of scot-free, they're not doing the time for their crime. Let me assure you that drug court is no easy task. Drug court in itself can be like a job. You are going to court at least twice a month. You're going to have treatment meetings. You're going to have essentially homework assignments that you need to do, job applications. You're going to be working on getting housing. There's going to be so much accountability that goes along with drug court. It's going to be structured so that this is not an easy pass. This really is a program for those who desire to get clean.
Now, Loretta, my next question is, how do people handle this kind of structure when they haven't had any in their most of their adult life?
So, depending on where they're at with their addiction, starting with an assessment, if they haven't had much structure and they really cannot maintain any sort of sobriety at all, then, we're looking at probably, maybe a detox, episode along with going into an intensive inpatient program followed by aftercare. So up to 24 months, of treatment. So as people lose control, then people are in their lives in an intense way. And as they start to gain their recovery and have support systems and get housing and jobs and sponsors and going to meetings, then the professionals sort of pull back and let them move forward with their recovery.
So the court system has a way to formalize what amounts to the 12-step program, but also with a heavy dose of legalese and responsibility.
I would be hesitant to call it a formalization of the 12-step program, but it's more a legal accountability that goes hand in hand and is pairing with treatment.
How do you think it's going to work in the first months of operation here in good old Wenatchee?
I think we're going to be finding our feet, but I'm very optimistic about it. We've had interest from the defense bar as well as other clients who are seeking interest in it. So I think we're going to have a little bit of a rocky start with just finding our feet, but I think in 6 months we'll have our groove. I think we'll absolutely have our groove by then, if not sooner. As a team already, we work well, and we know that there's going to be some tweaks that have to go along the way. I mean, all new programs have it, so I don't anticipate any big problems.
Let's compare what we don't know about this program to what we do know about just taking someone with an addiction problem that's led a life of petty crime and is going to prison with no treatment whatsoever. What sort of life do they have ahead of them? Anyone?
Yes,
they just wait to get out so they can get high again, right?
Depends on their self-motivation. I'm not gonna. I would be reticent to label anybody who has gone to prison and comes back and just say they're nothing but an addict. What I can say is that drug court, for those who do the program, successfully complete it, there's a high success rate with them, and the recidivism rate for graduates is incredibly low. So those who can make it through the program, and it isn't for everybody, but those who succeed in the program they're more likely to succeed in life afterwards.
There's a certain amount of failure built into this that has nothing to do with drug court. It has to do with the way that people use their addictions. 12-step programs are great. They're maybe the best way to beat addictions, but not everybody gets through them. How many? 40% at the most?
So treatment isn't based on 12 steps. So that would be probably Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous.
I should have just said treatment.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Whatever treatment you choose or whatever treatment the courts choose.
Right. So, people struggle.
If it were easy, everybody would do it, right?
Absolutely.
They would just get straight and be done with it. It's not like that.
And everyone has their own circumstances, whether they're homeless or they have family support or they have employment still. So different levels of care for different levels of addiction.
lot of people think, well, heroin, that's got to be the worst. And other people say, no, opiates, those are the worst, the opioids. And other people just say, no, you don't understand. Jack Daniels was my friend forever, and I couldn't get rid of him no matter what I did.
Right.
And I should speak now that I have a history of alcoholism in my family that's quite impressive and long-lived and virulent. But it's something that my family's faced and a lot of families have faced. My point is, I know what it's like to see it, to live with it, and to see that some days you just say, this is never going to change. It's never going to go away. And that's the feeling a lot of people have about it, which is why this is the easy solution for someone who is not personally concerned is lock them up. Let's be done with it. Get them off the street.
Right. We just know that people who are locked up, they don't change their thinking. We have neural connections in our brains. That's what treatment is starting to connect the use with the consequences, talking about what that really looks like, real consequences, not just the legal system, but our families, our children, our bodies, our spirituality, our emotional well-being. So connecting those neural pathways, thinking differently. When we just sit and house people in a jail, they just sit there with the same thinking. Nothing's changed, and a lot of times just sit around and talk about using when they get out. So treatment is, a movement to connect things differently for people and to help them, guide them through the mistakes that they make when they're in early recovery, trying to live the way that they think that they need to.
And
yes,
I'm sorry, if
ahead.
I could make just a final note.
Okay. Well, she's got to go. I see what final means. Go ahead.
For those people who are concerned with what's going to come with drug court on our community, it's a little bit of money up front in order to save a whole lot of money down the road. Because people who successfully complete the program and their recidivism rates go down, that means our crime rate goes down. And that also means that here are more people who are clean, who are actively producing and can be part of, our local workforce, that they contribute to our community. So while there is a little bit of more financial upfront, in the long run, there's a whole lot of money that's saved with this program for each successful graduate that we have.
As a defender and a public defender, you've seen what happens when these kind of cases go to court. The court works fine, but it's the person who's sent away without the treatment that doesn't work well for it. I mean, they're the subject of the proceedings, but they're not being helped in any way.
Unfortunately, we see people return who don't get enough treatment and enough help and the structure that they probably need. And not only do we have them, but we have generations at this point of people who have been locked into the addiction cycle. So if we have a chance to break that and end it, we need to take it.
That's Sunshine Poliquin. She's got to run because she has legal responsibilities downtown. And Loretta Stover, who's from the Center of Alcohol and Drug Treatment, is remaining for just a few short moments. Thank you both. Thank you, Sunshine. Yeah, you can go. She has to go too? She's your ride. Goodbye to both of you. Hey, one last comment. Is this long overdue? This idea of drug
long
court?
overdue.
Absolutely.
Long overdue.
And the reason is that we've just been doing, we have to deal with addiction and the results of addiction, but the courts are only one way to do it, and the courts have to understand more about addiction before they can act properly. Am I right there?
And now that we have entered into an opioid epidemic, we've got all the players at the table. We've got medical, we've got legal system, and we've got treatment. And so we've got community readiness.
And I'm still mad at a bunch of doctors who are turning down pain medication for people who just had surgery so they don't have to write a prescription for someone. And they're being bothered by the pressure from Confluence or whoever pays the bills. So if you're going to give somebody shoulder surgery, give them a little Vicodin afterwards, please, and don't complain about that one. Thanks, ladies, for being here. And
Thank you so much.
Come back. Okay, geez, what a day. We'll be back after this.
If you are in the market for a car, van, or SUV, what I'm about to tell you...